My 36 years old, now ex-boyfriend broke up due after a tickle fight and I hit him when he wouldn't stop. I'm 34 years old. I'm wondering if I am the culprit abuser or if I share the blame towards my ex-boyfriend, 30M, in this situation that led to our breakup of a 2-year relationship. I am very ticklish while my ex isn't, and one of the ways he likes to show affection towards me is by poking me, goosing me when I don't expect it, slapping my butt and tickling, especially in my thighs and genital areas. I enjoyed it depending on the mood I was in, but lately he'd been getting on my nerves because his poke started to hurt because it would feel like he was digging his fingers in my ribs or my actual butthole when I'd be trying to relax on the bed, almost drifting off to sleep. The fight that led to our breakup started off with both of us on the bed and I was trying to relax. My ex all of a sudden grabs me and starts tickling/poking my genital area and upper thighs. It startled me and I really wasn't in the mood at the time, so I told him to stop and tried to get away, but he tightened his grip on my legs and was laughing even harder while I'm struggling to get away. For reference, I'm a 5 feet 3 inches woman and my ex is over 200 pounds, 6 feet 0 inches, and a former wrestler. I started getting really upset to the point where I almost felt panicked and it was like I wasn't in control of myself anymore. I kept trying to get away and stop him tickling me while laughing, feeling out of breath and having his hand leave rub marks on my ankles. After telling him to stop over 10 times and screaming by this point, he finally let go. I got up to leave and my laptop I was working on fell off the bed. He said, "That's what you get," and started scrolling Instagram on his phone. I realized I broke my nail during this whole exchange and I put my laptop on my table. Here's where I messed up and I feel sick recalling how I reacted, but I was so upset and felt full of adrenaline when I smacked his forehead as he was on his back and scrolling his phone. It wasn't hard IMO and didn't leave a mark, but he screamed at me, called me a fucking idiot and said, "You hit me. If you ever hit me again, I'll beat your fucking ass." We fought afterwards, because I tried to apologize, but also I tried to tell him I wasn't enjoying myself and it scared me that he wouldn't stop tickling me when I told him multiple times to, and it felt like he was enjoying seeing me in distress. I tried to explain I felt violated and he was touching me without my consent, which was technically assault, and he said in a sarcastic voice, "Oh, I bet you'll go on social media and tell everyone I'm a survivor for surviving a tickling attack." He kept calling me names like stupid, dumb broad. I couldn't even explain at the time how I felt like this fight or flight reaction I felt was related to earlier this summer when I was in a foreign country and was in the pool with my girlfriend and a group of other tourists when one of them kept kissing my neck and touching my genitals and dragging me to the corner of the pool away from my friend who broke our girl code promise to watch out for each other. I told my ex about this incident and at the time he seemed supportive and empathetic, which is why his reaction about being a survivor left me speechless because I felt so sad and defeated. I apologized for hitting him because physical violence out of anger is wrong and I truly felt bad, but he said he no longer felt safe with me and that things were over between us now because I crossed that line, which I admit I did. I feel so ashamed, especially since he told me he had a toxic relationship in his early 20s with a lot of physical violence from both sides, and he once showed up to Mother's Day with a black eye from his ex. I swore I would never do that to my ex, and I broke that promise to him and myself in the blink of an eye, and there is nothing I can do now except accept his decision and respect it. He brought up times where I reacted impulsively and angrily, like destroying one of the boxes his friend gave him when he wouldn't stop making fun of me over text message during an argument over division of labor and paying rent. I also one time grabbed him by the shirt in response to me being, in his words, in a pissy mood when we went to his dad's house and he was scaring my dog by towering over him and wouldn't listen to me when I asked him to stop doing it. I know the relationship was very unhealthy and needed to end. Prior to this, I'd been thinking of breaking things off since I was feeling off about multiple things. How I felt like he would purposefully try to push my buttons to get a rise out of me. Him constantly saying jokes like "you better" in a mocking threatening voice when I said I loved him, or jokingly saying he would kick my ass if I didn't love him. He'd tell me he was joking when I tried to tell him it made me uncomfortable, and he always said I was too sensitive and it was just a joke. His lies, like he cleaned up for 2 hours after work each night when he'd get off evening shift and I just didn't witness it because I was asleep, when I pointed out there was the same tufts of animal hair in the corners for days in a row. I guess I need to know if I am a total asshole in the fight that led to our breakup or if there is shared blame here. Whatever the case, I feel deeply ashamed of my actions, but also don't ever want to repeat them or feel that loss of anger and loss of control.